This is Football at 4.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on a Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Yes, it is another edition of Football at 4. NFL insider Adam Caplan joins us. Yes, it's Inside the Birds is the podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, InsideTheBirds.com for all your coverage of the Eagles, as well as Inside the Birds. Just search it on YouTube. Don't forget about the Patreon subscription where you get all the excellent insights, insider insights from guys like Greg Cosell, John D. Filippo, and more. Adam is back here for our Tuesday edition. Welcome in, Adam. How's your Tuesday going?
Josh, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, in fact, tonight we have Greg Cosell at 8 o'clock with our Patreon members. I know they'll be lining up for questions and discussions with Greg, and we'll have a couple questions too. Then tomorrow night we have John D. Filippo scheduled, the Super Bowl winning Eagles former quarterbacks coach. That's also at 8 Eastern. Then Jeff and I are at Thursday, so those are on Zoom. And also, this just happened. We just dropped it this morning. It was fantastic. Jeremiah Trotter Sr. with our Derek Gunn. Derek has a great interview with him, which you get on all the podcasting platforms. So that dropped today, and we love that. Q&A will be tomorrow, by the way, not today. We moved them back a day. So Quintin Mitchell and Jason Navarro will be tomorrow. And we've got a lot more coming. Last week we had 24 different shows, which is the most in our history.
Yeah, those gut-on-one interviews are absolutely awesome. So I definitely recommend people to check that out over on the Inside the Birds platform. Speaking of the Birds, Adam, obviously it's the time of the week when we start making the transition from what happened to the future. And obviously part of the Eagles' future is currently has some clouded injuries over it. Let's first start with JalenHurts because we saw on the TV copy of the game, as you like to call it, Adam, on the television, they zoomed in on his knee in the game. So talk about that knee issue and how it impacts Jaylen in the offense.
Yeah, Josh, we actually talk about this today. The other show that we just dropped, literally within the last hour, is myself, Jeff Mosher, and Andrew DeCecco. We did our roundtable show, which you get in all podcasting platforms. And we actually talk about this. Well, what's this going to look like on Sunday? And you got to understand, Jaylen, before the knee injury, it's his left knee, by the way, he had the 44-yard touchdown run on the first series. And, by the way, he had one of the fastest quarterback runs of the season by the way that the NFL tracks it. You know, they have the sensor in the shoulder pad, so that's pretty interesting. And then on a really nice run, you saw later in the game he hurt his left knee, and that he was not the same after that. So here's the thing, Josh, for Sunday. It's not a question, will JalenHurts play? It's, okay, well, when he drops back, how firm will his feet be? His plant leg is his left leg, his power leg is his right. Will they ask him to run the football? Because we know how impactful he is as a runner. Also, when he scrambles, when the pocket breaks down, he decides to break the pocket. How successful will he be? We can't answer these questions. The Eagles don't know that. They know what exactly the injury is, but they're not going to know until they get through practice this week how he looks. So we'll obviously keep an eye. Tomorrow's their first practice. Actually, what they're going to do is they're not having a practice. They're going to have a jog-through. They're going to practice 2 days, Thursday and Friday. But look, tomorrow's their install day. They start installing what it's going to look like. They tune it up. Thursday's their long day, and Friday's their light day. And then they have the Saturday walkthrough. So this is a big deal, Josh. Now, I would, before we go on to move the other players and everything else, the thing is here, Josh, you know, people are saying like Herz didn't play well and this, that, and the other. Let's not forget he lost 2 plays in that game. The deep ball to A.J. Brown dropped, down the right sideline. People say I'm a Herz hater. I'm not. I tell the truth. Sometimes it's very critical because it's the truth. He also lost the Devontae Smith route down the middle, which probably was a post route. Remember, he got hit. He got illegally hit, but that was a good throw. Now, I know Jeff thought it was a little bit late, but the bottom line is it was there. Devontae Smith could have caught it. He had it in his hands. He got hit before the ball got there. So, yeah, those are 2 big plays. Let's not forget about that. They've chosen to play a certain way, Josh, this season, and there are a lot of reasons why, but they play a specific way. But it's not like they didn't try to throw the ball downfield. That would not be correct. They actually did.
Yeah, and there are other plays throughout the game, and we could literally do a 2-hour podcast on Inside the Birds, Adam, just breaking down the plays that coulda, shoulda, woulda throughout the game that would have impacted JalenHurts' passing totals at the end of the day. By the way, Josh Allen had 127 passing yards, and JalenHurts had 128. So read into that what you will, right, Adam?
No, that's fair to bring that up. I know people get mad at us when we don't bring up other players. So I think my only problem with the Hertz supporters is they make so many excuses. They rarely will admit that Hertz didn't do the right thing in terms of he should have stayed there, don't move, don't break the pocket. But we focus on education. We don't take shots. There's no hate ever, not with anyone who works for us. It's completely false. As a matter of fact, the Patreon members, I know there were some who thought Greg was overly critical in the beginning. Now they're totally back Greg because Greg is educating them on what should happen and when it's not done the right way. But by the way, you should have seen Greg's notes for the Pittsburgh game. Greg was blown away how well Hertz played against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He lets the tape speak to him. The all 22, it's not TV copy, just for people to be clear here.
Right, that's why I was clarifying what I said with my intro. You mentioned that a lot on the Inside the Birds podcast. There's an extreme difference between the TV and the all 22. Speaking of, you mentioned A.J. Brown. He had 2 drops in the game. Yeah. Left knee, he had 7 targets, 2 catches, 2 drops. Tell us what else you saw, Adam.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him the drop, the one over the middle, because, Josh, he would have got his head knocked off. I mean, you understand that. I'm not criticizing A.J. I understand he pulled up on that one because the ball was really in front of him, and he would have gotten hit. But the one down on the right sideline, I'm sorry, that's right there. You got to catch that. If I'm not mistaken, now I have access to this. I'm going to look this up just to be sure. I don't think A.J. Brown had a drop in the regular season, which is incredible. Because if you know over the years, we've always said he's had good hands, not even close to elite hands. Some years he's had more drops than I'm sure you would find acceptable. But, yeah, it just bothered me that he dropped that ball downfield, but that's okay. Look, it happens. Now, he's got this left knee issue. He got hurt in the Pittsburgh game when they decided to throw the ball, not run it, when they were up 14 points with 6 minutes left against Pittsburgh in Week 15. He has not been the same since then. Now, he did practice more last week. I know he had said after the game he's feeling better. Okay, that's fine. But he has not looked the same since he got hurt. To me, Josh, I don't know why they don't. I know they're not dropping Jaylen back a lot to throw, but can we see Dallas Goedert get the ball more? He looked great. Did he not look great? I thought he looked great last week. I'd like to see him get the ball more.
Absolutely. Goddard, for 2 straight games, has looked really good since his return from his latest injury. Talk with Adam Caplan here at Caplan NFL and Twitter X platform. Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, and Inside the Birds on YouTube. The other injury of interest, Adam, I genuinely believe that game would have played out differently if Quintin Mitchell played the entire game. They're describing his injury as a shoulder injury, right, Adam? Yes.
So, and then Isaiah Rodgers came in, and then Rodgers left briefly. He did come back number 34 late in the game, but I think he said he cramped up. But with Quintin Mitchell, unfortunately, it's not a serious injury. We know that. It's just he's got to get it right, and they'll take the time they need to get it right. But you're right. Mitchell's much bigger physically. He's just a better football player than Rodgers. But, Rodgers has been a good story. This has been a really good signing. Think about this had they not signed Isaiah Rodgers, Josh.
Yeah.
Keely Ringo, look, he OTs, he was really good. He dropped off in training camp. It wasn't close between Rodgers and Ringo. I'm just telling you, he was not what Rodgers clearly won the number 3 job. In fact, he backs up. Vic Fangio confirmed today, which we on Inside the Birds already knew, that Rodgers backed up both outside spots. It's kind of what we had thought based on tape study and other things that we had heard. And now he confirmed it today that Rodgers clearly backs up both left and right corner. And Mitchell has been a great story. I did not vote for him for defensive rookie of the year last week for Pro Football Writers. But if we were putting together an all-rookie team, he clearly would have been on it. And then finally, Britton Covey is actually eligible to practice and play this week. Let's see if he even practices. But remember, he's missed almost the entire season with a neck injury. And as a matter of fact, he was practicing for a while, and then the neck didn't feel right, so they put him on IR. So we know Jaylen has been the punt return. I'm more interested to see what happens in the offseason. Do they give Covey a chance to get that punt return job back?
And by the way, Adam, back to Isaiah Rodgers, I did want to mention that Darius Slay mentioned on his own podcast about how people don't understand how good Isaiah Rodgers is as a player and how lucky the Eagles are to have him. So there are guys on the Eagles as well, Adam, that are echoing what you're saying about Rodgers. Speaking of injury updates, Sam Cosmi, the guy that a lot of people think is the best O-lineman for the Washington Commanders, he is not going to play. Right ACL. So how is Washington going to replace him, considering that Jalen Carter guy is going to be right across the line?
Yeah, and that to me is as I think Andrew DeCecco said on our show today, and I would agree with it, that is a major problem. He is not only their best lineman, it's not something that's debatable, he is their best lineman. He got a monster contract extension. This guy played guard in college, I believe at Texas. People were unsure if he could play guard, but, man, he's been a really good football player for them. It'll be Trent Scott. Trent Scott replaced him. We fully expect that to happen at right guard. And, look, Trent Scott's a journeyman, backup right tackle and left and right guard. You're right, Josh. And, by the way, $93 million Williams, because the Eagles will move their linemen around, it's a problem for them. This is something to watch immediately. When Jaden Daniels drops back, I know that listen, the Eagles are king of the stunts and the sim pressures. I know they don't blitz much at all. I'm interested to see how they take advantage of this with Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, and Fangio. Really interested to see what they do here to take advantage of that matchup.
Speaking of the matchup, Eagles are now up to 6 on the line, Adam. I mean, this thing has moved 2 points since this game is opened. You know, you've covered the NFL for a long time. When you see a line move like that, Adam, what does it say to you?
Everyone's on the Eagles now. Okay, a couple things. It pretty much universally opened at 4.5. Today it moved to 6 in just about every sports book in the country. I know DraftKings got them at 6. There might be one that's at 6.5, but Josh, it tells you when the line moves that much. I mean, wow. 6 is a lot. That to me is wow. I don't bet, but I do have to pick for Sports Grid every Thursday with Scott Farrell at 5:30. I would tell you right now, I won't make my picks till later in the week. Washington has just blown me away how they've looked in the playoffs. Now, the Cosmi injury, that one you have to certainly factor in. But, boy, 6 points is a lot, Josh, with the way Washington's playing. And, you know, with the A.J. Brown injury and we have no idea how well Hertz will play Sunday, that's a lot of points to give up if you're the Eagles.
Absolutely. And, Adam, before I let you go, first look at the weather. Good news, it looks like no snow on Sunday, right?
Josh, this right now again, because you know about you know what happened Sunday.
Yep.
If you're in South Jersey, got rain. And if you're south of King of Prussia, by the way, you got snow before the game. Then it stopped. Then around the link, they got it in the second half where it stopped with us south of King of Prussia. So things could happen and change. But the early look for weather, it's really crazy how this is going to happen. At 3 p.m., around game time, it should be around 40 degrees, which would be the warmest by far the day of the week. This morning, depending where you lived, it was 5 degrees. So it's maybe 18 or 19 now, Josh. So, yes, we could actually have great weather. No precip right now in the forecast.
Yeah, we got ice and snow down here, so the roads are.
We got ice too. Yep.
We still ice on the roads. That's why I keep telling people be careful out there because some of those roads didn't get salted, if you know what I mean, Adam.
Yeah, I know. And look, one of these days, hopefully in our lifetime, Josh, in each state they could figure out a way to just have better roads and less erosion. Because these potholes, man, for those of us who've been driving for a couple decades, it's not. In fact, already it's not good. I don't understand. Like, how did this happen? We've got this is the first real snowfall we've had in 2 years. Like, why are the roads bad already? I don't understand it.
It's ridiculous. But the good news is, at least the road will not be bad for the Eagles on Sunday. Multiple players were changing out their cleats and their studs during the game on Sunday, but 40 and clear sounds like a pretty good day for the NFC Championship game. And, of course, Adam Caplan and the Inside the Birds podcast, guys, got it all covered. Inside the Birds podcast, downloads, like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts, InsideTheBirds.com. And, of course, Inside the Birds on YouTube. And, Adam, again, tell the folks what's going on with the Patreon tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, so tonight, Cosell at 8. Tomorrow night, John DeFilippo, former Eagles quarterbacks coach. Mosher and I with some great intel from our sources. So, and then you got, and by the way, the DeFilippo will be for Tier 3. Cosell tonight for Tier 3. We're gonna probably open it up for Tier 2 and 3 on Thursday night. Just go to patreon.com/InsideTheBirds for more, and be a member. Get to know us. You get incredible information we don't put out there, only for Patreon. We have private Zooms. We're also, by the way, Discord too. We get into Discord. We have fun, man. Jeff and I, and there might be 40 or 50 people on Discord at one time. It's pretty amazing. Pretty funny, by the way, and pretty entertaining, and really great people. They become friends. It's actually very cool.
Awesome. Love to hear it, Adam. Great stuff today. Always appreciate you jumping on. We'll talk again later in the week.
Thanks, man.